Hey guys, this is Vic Black over at the Arm Dot Performance Training, bringing you the drill of the week. We're going to address the drive. Everyone has cues, everyone has drills, everyone has ideas about how the leg drive works. We all know we want to be in our butt. This is the strongest muscle we've got to accelerate ourselves and build power towards our target. But how do we stay in it? How do we, quote, use your legs, kid, end quote. I know you've heard that. I heard it growing up. Stay in your legs, get in your legs, use your drive further, harder, whatever it may be. We're going to simplify that today. We're going to allow for you to feel what it is actually like to be in your booty, heading towards your target. So, before we get to the drill, I want to discuss just one thing. As we load, and the idea to stay in the glute gives us a hip load, or boom. See how we're still loaded, got the crease in the hip, knee is still counter rotated. This will then allow for that spring effect rotation, acceleration of the hips through our target. What most likely is happening is you're going to your toe too early. The moment we go to our toe, we get out of our glute, it becomes mushy like mashed potatoes. And then we go quad, calf, and those extend. For one thing, they screw our timing up because we have this little jump. That messes everything up because nothing is smooth building energy to the bottom. We go through our calf and our quad, which like I said, they're extenders. And if you are not pointing straight towards home, they do you no good because you're pushing energy towards the on-deck circle of the third base side. These are great. The extension is great, but it has to have direction in the hip to go forward. We don't want to just extend because at the same time this happens, we have to pull everything back, compensate, cut ourselves off, just to get the hand back into a place that we can execute something around the strike zone. Once we compensate, we've lost effective, I guess, velocity in a sense. We've lost that, we've lost accuracy. This affects health as well. So timing, health, it's all bad. We just don't want to compensate. So, the drill, let's get to it. We're going both feet on the rubber facing the opposite direction as if you're throwing out of the windup to second base. Then we're going to take our drive foot. We're going to turn it as if we are against the rubber in the stretch. Notice how drive foot's on the rubber. The lift leg is pointed the opposite direction. And then we're going to rotate the upper body towards second. You will immediately feel your hip of your drive leg turn on. Now we want to squeeze into our glutes, which requires a little bit of sitting into that right heel. From there, all we're going to do is lift the leg out of the way, clear it, and you'll notice this will begin to accelerate you down the mountain with not a lot of effort. Up, and then down. And now look at us. We're extended through the hip towards our target. Here's one full speed. And we're getting maximum drive out of this back hip into a strong front side. You know, a lot of times, and especially growing up, I didn't throw like this. I actually, if you've seen any videos, was here, straight to my toe, glove side pulling me out of the backside. That's another story for another day. This took time to learn what it's like to stay in your drive hip down the mound through your target. It requires work, diligence, and wisdom. We don't just come in and do 100 reps a day. Listening to Pavel Tsatsouline, responsible for the kettlebell in the West, trained Spetsnaz, special forces for the Soviet Union, former Soviet Union. The gentleman speaks about training as in effective time under tension, avoiding max fatigue. This resonated so much with me as far as our drill work that I do with my guys before we start our lessons, where we're minimal 3 to 5 reps. You're just working through the movement, teaching and training how to efficiently move, and then we execute. Simple is almost always better than complex. Because when we make things super complex, we actually are adding so many other variables, thoughts, ideas, movements that, heck man, throwing is really a complex movement if you break it down. Why do we have to make it any more difficult than it is? Because if you just watch a guy that's athletic, his arm is on time, it looks very simple because it is. Remember that. We work smarter, not harder. This was brought back up into my attention just yesterday, and so thought I'd add this into the end of the movie. And yes, I said movie. This one is also sponsored, brought to you by Victor Black LLC. Yes, I sponsored myself. What a deal. Peace out.